to a recent report, Escambia County leads the Florida Panhandle in the number of elder abuse reports to the state. So why is that the unfortunate case? And what can we be doing about it? Joining me now to help us learn about warning signs, risk factors, prevention, and reporting is Dawn Smith with Adult Protective Services. Dawn, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, it's kind of alarming, but let's talk about one thing that I think is important for people to understand before we get into it is how do y'all define elder abuse? I think a lot of people like myself may think more physical, but it's much broader than that. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Elder abuse does include the intentional infliction of harm, but also maybe oversights and neglect of an elder person, or exploitation of their funds, and also it includes self-neglect of individuals.
So then it is very, very broad, including the self-neglect as well as the financial oversight and those type of things. So why do you think our numbers are so high? Is this because we have more cases than the rest of the state, or we're better at reporting? I know some reporting is a factor in this as well. What's your thoughts?
I believe that the report that came out was involving just the circuit, which would be our Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Walton. And of course, Escambia, having the higher population, is going to have higher reports.
Right. Definitely a factor as well.
And that is also reflective in our region, that we have a greater number of reports in Escambia County, in the community, than throughout the Florida Panhandle.
Right, just sure population numbers and percentages would reflect that.
But as far as reporting, the Department of Children and Families and Department of Elder Affairs, the Aging Resource Center, has teamed up to give more information and training, and just giving more community awareness of adult abuse, and advertising the abuse hotline number. So yes, there is more reporting as well. So
combination of factors. Well, speaking of factors, let's talk about risk factors. What are some risk factors that someone might be pertinent to someone who's potentially, could be abused?
Dementia is a big factor, because there's confusion. They may not know their own risks because of the dementia setting in. Also, if they are secluding themselves, if they live alone, if they have very few family contact. One other biggie for me is if they are very protective of one family member and providing more explanations of situations, then that's a kind of a clue for us. More money going out of their account than what's really advisable for you and me. A pattern of funds coming out of their bank account. There's the typical ones you would see: bruising, broken bones, bed sores.
A lot of things that could be risk factors, as well as signs and symptoms that we could recognize. Well, what can a caregiver do to kind of be aware or be on the lookout, so to speak, for a potential case of elder abuse?
I appreciated the earlier speaker, because she was talking about caregivers, and they very much needed to take care of their own health, and because they themselves have to take care of themselves in order to take care of their patient, their loved one. And when they are getting out and about and seeing and contacting the resources that have been offered to them, they do have more awareness of the services that are available. Right. They'll be able to recognize more signs with more education of elder abuse.
Well, and let's go back to reporting, because I think that is something that is very important, and I'm so glad to hear that there are efforts out there to raise awareness of that. I think a lot of people, like you and I talked off the air about a case that I've been observing, you know, we want to help, but we don't want to get in the middle. Tell us a little bit about how people report, what kind of information they have to give. Are you going to be contacting them again? Will the person know who called? Let's talk about all the reporting issues.
When you call the Florida Abuse Hotline, the reporter information is protected. I can't say, Jeff Nall called this report in and he wanted to come check. We can't say that. There might be some buzzwords that the alleged victim might pick up on that maybe you have mentioned during a conversation with them earlier, but we can't actually divulge who called it in. If you don't want to leave your name, you don't have to leave your name. But frankly, as in the investigative supervisor, I find more credibility when you give me your name, and I do want to talk to you because the hotline may not have captured all that you said. I want to get a feel for what you actually observed. So I may have more questions after the report came in, so I want to talk to you. Yeah, and that pretty much is where it ends as far as the reporter's involvement in it.
Well, if someone else is responsible for the abuse, whether it's physical or intimidation or financial, you know, that kind of thing, there's someone who needs to be dealt with. But in the case of self-neglect, you know, we don't want to get the people in trouble, we want to help. What do you say to the person who's sitting on the fence thinking, oh, I don't want to make things worse for this individual?
They're still being neglected. They're still being, their lives could be at risk depending on the degree of things sliding. As you know, there's so many things that you don't see just looking at the outside of a situation. And if we can get in there earlier into offering services, then potentially those risks can be eliminated.
So y'all do offer services or some solutions to improve that neglectful situation. So it's not a you're in trouble thing.
Do the Council on Aging.
All right. Well, good. Well, Dawn, thank you for being here, and just hope everybody will, whatever the case may be that they observe, that they give you guys a call.
Absolutely. 1-800-96-ABUSE.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.